Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at an oldie but a goodie. This is DC Comics' first graphic novel. The first time they had done this. It was published in 1987. I was in high school and I was quite excited when this came out and had to get a copy. This one I actually got years ago as a new copy. I've actually bought it twice. This is the second time I got it, because with growing up and life, moving, everything that you do in life, getting married, having kids, jobs, this simply got lost, and I never did find out what happened to it. It was gone. So several years ago, I managed to find a new sealed copy, and I remember how much I enjoyed it, so I purchased it. So this is not the original one I bought in 1987, but this is the actual book from 1987. It's the original. I was amazed I could find a sealed copy from that long ago, and it wasn't expensive either, so I jumped at it. This is written by Mike W. Barr and illustrated by Jerry Bingham. At the time of publication, it retailed for $14.95 for this hardcover. Nice sketch of Batman right here. This is in memory of Bill Finger. Here's just the title page. And a nice illustration of Batman from Jerry. We have an introduction first by Mark Hamill. Everybody knows Mark Hamill from playing Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. And DC fans know him from playing the voice of the Joker in Batman the Animated Series. He's a big comic fan, and at the time, DC was able to get him to write an introduction. And we've got these nice sketches throughout the introduction here. And the story just starts off right in the middle of the action. There's a terrorist group that Gotham PD is having terrible problems with. They got hostages, and the bat signal is activated. This actually, maybe not today, but at the time, it was quite violent. I remember reading it, and I was a little shocked. I mean, not a whole lot, and not in a bad way, but I was a little shocked that it was more violent than your average Batman issue. You got to remember, this was a graphic novel, and it was not written with the constraints of the Comics Code Authority. So, for example, there's a little bit of language in here. There's some blood, plenty of violence. Here's Batman making his dramatic appearance. And I mean, look at this guy. This guy shoots I guess a barrel of toxic waste, and it blows up at him. Instead of giving him superpowers, it melts his face off. So I really like his comment. He's like, "God damn you!" And Batman says, "Looks like he got you first." I mean, it was great. As a teenager, this really appealed to me, and still does as an adult. Revisiting it as an adult still surprises me as how adult this story is. We have Talia enter the story. At the time, Talia was a love interest for Batman. My understanding is she's not anymore. She's more of a villain. but I always liked her as a love interest because as the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, she made for an interesting love interest because there was that conflict between Batman and Ross, and yet his daughter loves Batman and has loyalty to both Batman and Ra's al Ghul. So it made for an interesting romance, and I was disappointed to hear they did away with that. Here's Ross. This is like a James Bond movie on steroids. I mean, you got the supervillain, the hero, and of course, just like in the Bond movies, they're having a meal where the villain explains his plans. Of course, in this case, Ross is not quite the villain of the story. He and Batman have to join forces because they have a mutual interest in stopping these terrorists. Talia and Batman end up in bed together, and you know, you didn't see that one in the comics either, although it was implied. It wasn't so directly apparent as in this. Oh, I don't know why I kept this. Maybe as a bookmark. It's a little card that came where you could order a limited edition poster, a Batman poster, for $5. I don't know why that's still there, but I kept it. Let's take that out. You know, Batman and Ra's al Ghul playing chess together directly, what's the word? Just alluding to their relationship. They're constantly battling each other, and just like in this chess game, they reach a stalemate. And that always seems to be the way, although Batman says that I play to win. We have an assault on a military base here, an American military base that Batman's involved in, because the villain is trying to gain control of a weather satellite to use for his own nefarious purposes. So Batman, unfortunately, finds himself in the position of having to break into an American base, which he's a little loath to do, but has to. Here's an interesting plot development. Talia finds out and informs Batman that she is pregnant with his child. And he and Ross have a celebration with their men because Ross is going to be a grandfather. Here's the villain. He's having one of Ross's stooges, henchmen, if you will, tortured, and then kills him by, you know, it looks like he's squeezing his head until it explodes like a melon. I mean, the violence just kind of amuses me because I just wasn't used to seeing it in Batman comics, and I liked it. It was action and just a lot of fun. Big James Bond movie in print. Here we go, big assault on the base. They even have all the henchmen rappelling down the mountain into the base's entrance. I mean, good grief, that's right out of a Bond film. Although in this case, the henchmen are actually trying to stop the villain as opposed to carry out the villainous purposes of Ra's al Ghul. And of course, there's a big explosion at the end, which is just like a James Bond movie. Here's the main villain again. He's killing this guy by squeezing the rib cage out of the guy's body. I mean, just like ripping him out. I mean, that's just like, what? You can tell it's very 80s. Gorbachev is the president of the then Soviet Union, talking to Ronald Reagan at the time. That they were the presidents of their respective countries at the time. So, Batman is wanting to take Talia away from everything because he's concerned about her safety and their baby's safety, and she fakes the loss of the child so Batman will continue fighting with Ross against the villain. She didn't want to be sent away, and she didn't want him she didn't want him to send her away, and she didn't want him to leave, wanted him to continue the fight. And there we have the Batman letting the main villain know that it's over, give up. Of course, he doesn't. Interestingly, right here, Batman attacks the guy, but the villain pushes him off. He doesn't actually want to fight Batman. He's not interested. He wants Ra's al Ghul. Of course, Batman fights him anyway. And then he tries to kill Ross, and Batman saves Ross's life, and the villain gets killed in the process, electrocuted. And again, kind of graphically. So, this is just good. It's like an action movie. It's Batman in an action movie. Interestingly, here at the end, we find out, of course, that Talia was faking the loss of her child. She does give birth to a baby. This is Batman's son. Batman and Talia's son. Now, at the time, this was not considered canon. This was just a tale set in the Batman universe. And the baby was just, adopted by a Western couple, and I'm not sure they did much with the baby after that. However, in 2006, Garth Ennis and artist Andy Kubert decided to take that idea of Batman having a son and deciding that son remain, and he is Damian Wayne. And that instead of being adopted, he was born and raised by the League of Assassins, by Ra's al Ghul's himself and Talia, his mother, and was trained to be an assassin from the day he was born. And that makes it very interesting for Batman when he's got a skilled combatant and trained assassin who's still a kid show up on his doorstep when Talia delivers him to her later. And of course, Damian Wayne has gone on to become a very popular character. My daughter just thinks he's awesome. He's her favorite Robin. She still likes Dick Grayson, the original Robin, but she's absolutely a fan of Damian Wayne, and a lot of people are. So this is where that all started. So it wasn't meant to be canon, but it was retconned to be canon. So interesting. This is, you can still get this. It's in, there's a trilogy that was written, the Demon Trilogy, and the story is still available. So if you'd like to read it, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, good action, some good romance in there, interesting team up between Ra's al Ghul and Batman fighting a common villain. So keep a lookout for it. Do a search for it. You should be able to find it out there, even if it's a trade paperback. I believe it's all still in print, and you can read it. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and take care. Bye.